This is Abnormal Entertainment.
2, 3, 4. Walked into the tunnel just to find the light. Hunted for old demons, looking for a fight. Looked up at the stars, seemed to go forever. There must be a way, it all fits together. Fell into the quicksand, held on to the vines. Never could quite color, stay within the lines. Feels like I have wings, I can fly wherever. This is just a way, it all fits together. Finally saw the world through rose-colored glasses. Gonna share my journey to small and large masses. Give up on my life, no sir, me never. This is how I put it together. This is how I put it together. This is how I put it together.
Hey everybody, this is Daniel Garza, and welcome to another episode of Put It Together. I'd like to start as usual thanking my producer, Mr. Kevin Moyers, for all his help and support. Thank you, sir. Inviting everybody to check us out at normalentertainment.com, where you can find all the shows on the network. Also, you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Look for Daniel G. Garza or at Little Mexican, LILMESICAN. And you'll find information on the show, on my guests, what they're up to, photos, and all kinds of interesting stuff. So go check that out. This week, I want to get started. I have a very special guest, somebody I've been looking forward to chatting with for a long time, Mr. Chris Pettit. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I thank you for trimming your beard for my show.
Oh, hey. Yeah, I always like to look well-groomed. I like to look like I take care of myself. So.
I'm gonna say that it was just for me and feel really good about myself.
We can go with that too, actually.
Now, Chris and I met. We met at Healthy Voices, right?
I believe so.
Yes.
I believe so. I think so. Yeah.
Because you were there this year for 2018.
Healthy Voices. No, I wasn't anywhere. I think we met through social media. I don't think it was actually.
Did we meet through somebody?
Huh?
Did we meet through somebody?
I think so. It might have been, I don't know if I can name drop here, but,
Yeah.
Alicia Bridges.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
She connected us, and, I looked into your story and thought, wow, that's really crazy, the stuff you've been through. So I think she just kind of thought like, wow, you guys both have these stories that go way back, and, she does that. That's why I love Alicia. She's always introducing me to people, the whole chronic illness thing. So, it's a very vast community.
She hasn't been on my show yet, but she will soon. For those of you, Alicia and I did meet at Healthy Voices, and you guys have heard me talk about it. She's this gorgeous, statuesque Black woman with an awesome personality, stand-up comedian. So she's got this witty sense of humor. She's just amazing. Wait till I have her on the show. You'll see it.
Yeah, she is. She is quite the sight in real life. When I first saw her, I was like, wow, is she a supermodel too? Like,
yes.
Very yes.
I'll post pictures of her so you guys can see her. But in fact, her and I are working on a project together, and that'll come out pretty soon. I can't say too much about it. It's a little secret, but
no spoilers. La la la.
No spoilers. No. And it has nothing to do with me in the nude. Promise. Nothing. Nothing. Well, okay, a little bit, but nothing. So you're up in Portland, correct?
Yep, Portland, Oregon, the great Northwest, the home of Bigfoot, I think.
I'm
still hoping so.
Sasquatch? Is that what it is?
Yep, the weird, keeping it weird up here in the land of donuts and beer. Yep, that's great town. I love it up here.
Portland is pretty cool, especially also don't they have like a cool chocolate company up there too?
I'm not sure.
Or is that Seattle? Maybe that's Seattle.
I think it's Seattle. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm confusing my Northwest. It's because I'm in California, so all I believe in is surfing and Hollywood.
And tacos.
And tacos, yes. And in fact, I'm wearing my Tabasco shirt tonight. So.
Goes perfect on tacos.
A little Tabasco and Superman here going on. Well, let's get you going. I want to hear your story because we've been planning this for a long time. Let me put my timer on here because I forgot to do that. I want folks to hear your story. So tell us, Mr. Pettit, how do you put it together?
Well, let's see. I have psoriasis, and that's actually how me and Alicia Bridges met. We both have psoriasis. I was diagnosed with plaque psoriasis back when I was 12 years old. I'm 32 now, so it's been about 20 years or over 20 years now. And it's been quite the up and down roller coaster ride. School was always fun. People always pointing, asking questions, But things really started getting funny in high school. It's like, actually, I went to high school feeling really good about myself because I didn't really know what I was going up against. I didn't really know what my disease was. I thought it was just dry skin. So, I did whatever I had to do to keep it comfortable. Right. And to keep myself somewhat presentable. So I didn't really think much of it. But the psoriasis, I guess I jinxed myself because once I actually started high school, it really started to ramp up. And at my worst, I think it got really bad. It seriously got worse progressively through each year. So by the time my senior year came around, I was probably about 80%, between 70 and 80% covered. And at my worst was actually, I think my skin actually ironically enough, got really bad after I started dating my wife. Back in 2006, that's when it got really, really bad. It's like it was trying to keep me from dating or something. It's like it was trying to keep the ladies away. I don't know. But I'm sure a lot of people that have it feel that way, men and women. But luckily, she was very loving and accepting of me anyway. So I got really lucky in that sense.
Can we go back just a little before you go too far? Because you said it's plaque psoriasis?
Yeah.
What can you tell us what that is before we go on?
Well, plaque psoriasis, first of all, psoriasis, for those of you who don't know, psoriasis, it's an autoimmune disease. So it's a lot deeper than just the way your skin looks. The plaques it's exactly what it sounds like. It's just big, dry plaques on your skin. But psoriasis is a lot more than that. It's an immune thing, an immune system thing. Which pretty much the best way to describe it, because I'm not a doctor, is I have a hyperactive immune system, pretty much. Okay. So my body works way too hard. That's actually why that's why people with psoriasis, that's why the ones that have the skin part of it, that's why it looks that way, because of the immune system. And there's also the arthritis, which I actually, fortunately, have dodged up until this point, knock on wood.
Is there something that triggers it more so than other things?
Yeah, actually. Believe it or not, it's stress. Stress actually is, if you go out and you ask 100 people, hey, what triggers your psoriasis the worst? I'd say probably 80-90% of them would tell you it's stress. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So now that we know that, moving forward, so you meet your wife.
Yep.
And
yep.
Go ahead.
I told this story a lot, so I just kind of.
Well, no, then this is your episode, so talk to us about what you want to talk about.
Yeah, no, it's I met my wife in 2006. We've been married for on December 17th. It'll actually be 12 years that we've been married. We have 3 very handsome little boys, who fortunately have not shown any sign, because psoriasis is it's a genetic thing, unfortunately. So, so far they have not shown any signs. again, I hope I don't jinx anything. And yeah, it's unfortunately there's no cure for it yet. That's kind of what we're looking for these days. My wife actually works for. I mean, am I allowed to say?
Yeah.
My wife actually works for the National Psoriasis Foundation. My wife actually, she manages all the volunteers, so she knows Alicia really well, and that's how I got involved. Because I was pretty closed off until she said, "Hey, there's a whole community of people out there. Get involved." And so that's kind of how I ended up where I'm at now. So,
Before we continue, I should connect her with my sister. My sister suffers from psoriasis, but she doesn't speak a lot of English, so she could use like some Spanish info or some connections to do it. Because I have these little patches.
yeah.
I get these on my elbows, and not this one, and on my knees. But this is the one. This is like my stress button. Where is it? Right there? Can you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is my stress button. This is how I know that I'm stressing, because it'll flare up, and when everything is chill, it'll calm down. I'm like a turkey. It pops out when it's ready. So
stress level.
Yeah.
1,000.
Yeah. So, okay. I forgot where we left out. So you're,
Yeah.
how, okay, well, let's go to dating, if you don't mind a little bit, because you met your wife.
Jump right to it.
How does it affect your self-esteem, your social habits, hanging out with people, dating?
Well, I have 3 kids now, so my self-esteem is just fine.
He just winked at me, folks. He just winked at me.
And the rest of the world. No, it definitely, for a long time, after we started dating, I actually was really, I tried my hardest to wear like long shirts and stuff. And I mean, we dated for about 2 years, before we got married. So I'd say I was pretty closed off about it, I'd say probably for the first few months. And then when she finally saw, I think the first thing she saw was my back. I don't remember how that happened, but she saw my back and she didn't really know what to think about because she didn't know anything about it either. I mean, now we're experts, but back then it was just kind of a, wow, you live with this every day? Oh, that's such a shame, you know? But like I said, I was really fortunate to meet my wife right out of high school. We got married pretty young. I was 20 and she was 19. So, I didn't really have to, I mean, other than high school, high school doesn't really, I don't count high school. High school is dumb. But when it comes to like dating, like out in the real world, I was really, really fortunate. I didn't really have to deal with that. But it still makes me sad when I hear people talking about like, you know, I can't, because I mean, I've met a lot of really great people with this disease, and I find myself thinking, I don't ever say this out loud, but I always find myself thinking, wow, you have trouble finding somebody? Like this is crazy, man or woman. It doesn't matter who I meet. I'm like, you are having trouble finding somebody? That's crazy because you're so awesome. But it's the self-esteem. It's the self-esteem that really does affect a lot. And so that's one thing I try to keep. I try to tell people like, hey, you know what? You need to, even though you have this disease, just love yourself as you are. And people won't, I mean, confidence, I've always been told that confidence is probably the sexiest thing. In a person. I mean, it's very, very important. So yeah.
More so, I think I've discovered that more so in advocacy conferences or any kind of conference where you meet people with all these illnesses and diseases and because or what we can be considered limitations. Because for those of you watching, I'm at the coffee clutch here in Laguna Beach, and it's open right now, so they're clean by me. Just so you know, this is not a real studio. I'm taking over a coffee shop.
I thought it was a hotel room at first.
No, it's okay. No, it's not a hotel. I'm in a coffee place. My cleaning lady is cleaning my apartment. So I decided to come and grab some. I hadn't been here in a long time. It's called the Coffee Clutch here in Laguna Beach. And they make really good coffee and desserts. So I came out today. Anyway, side story. But yes, and I'll say this as a gay man. As a gay man, I find men who are very confident, regardless of their situation or problems. It's just attractive. Most of my friends have big levels of confidence. And I think that's why I'm attracted to these kind of friends, because I lack confidence. So it really motivates me when I see people. Anyway, that said, I was going to ask you to give some words of wisdom to people who wanted to date with psoriasis, but it seems like you just did. It's like, just be confident in yourself.
Yeah.
Sorry. It doesn't. Are you okay?
Yeah. I just had to plug my phone in. Sorry about that.
Oh, okay. Which is better because the screen's bigger now. So.
What's that?
No, that's good. That's good. You can keep it that way.
Oh, keep it like that? Keep it like that?
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
There we go. Yeah.
We can see a little. There you go.
All right.
Does that work for you?
Yeah, it works for me. That's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
for those of you that are listening and not watching, Chris is turning his phone around, and I'm like, yeah, no, because I think this conversation out of place would sound really weird. No, leave it sideways. No, pick it up. Leave it long ways. Yeah, no, that fits better.
In a coffee shop. Doing all of this in a coffee shop.
Anyway, that said, let me ask you about your confidence, because
Sure.
I'll put this as an example, like me being HIV positive, and cancer survivor. That's inside stuff that nobody knows, yet it defines my confidence sometimes. Yeah. How do you keep your motivation and your confidence up?
I really, honestly, it sounds kind of probably cheesy and cliche, but I look to my family, my wife and my kids, because I know that no matter what people think of me out there, they love me here. So that really does help build me up when I go out into the world. So I really do rely on them with that. Because I mean, who doesn't love it when their kids or their wife or their spouse, whoever, says like, "Oh my gosh, you're the best person in the world." Even if other people out in the world don't think so, it means the most coming from them. And so I think that really boosts my confidence, and it gets me ready for everything else out there. So that's really how I do it. I feed off their, they give me that energy, they give me that strength. So, because if I was on my own, honestly, if I was single right now, well, we wouldn't be having this discussion. I mean, that's for sure. Because I would probably be, I don't know. I was in a pretty dark place, with this disease. So, I think just getting married when I did and finding my wife when I did really is like, okay, all right, confidence, good. She's good for that. So good for that. It sounds really bad. She's a good person. She's good for a lot of things, but she's very encouraging.
She sits around all day till I need a boost of confidence, and then I talk to her.
Yeah, exactly.
Come here, woman.
Boost my confidence.
Tell me I'm gorgeous. Tell me I'm pretty.
I have days like that, yes.
Do you mind if we go to the dark place for a little bit?
Sure.
Just so that I'd like for folks out there who are maybe going through that dark place to know that they're not alone, that other people have been there. Do you mind? Yeah,
that's fine. Just to let you know, I never got to a place where I felt like I wanted to end it. I never got to that place. It was more just like, well, what, I'm all alone. This is the classic. I'm all alone. Nobody else is suffering from this. There's nobody to talk to because nobody can understand. Kind of that almost self-pity, which I mean, honestly, it's not physical suicide, but it's emotional, it's mental suicide. You know, when you give up like that. I don't know, that might strike chords with somebody, that might piss some people off that I just said that. I love social media. But it really, I mean, that's the way I see it, is when you give up, in a way you are killing yourself, because I mean, in some way we're all good people, you know. We just need to show it, and when we're not, we're isolating ourselves, we're robbing the people out there of who they could see us being, and we're robbing ourselves of, you know,
Right. Well,
love and happiness and all that stuff. So,
well, pity and depression are sold in the same package. It's all part of that same thing. So when you fall into that pitiful state, which I did like during cancer, it's so easy to fall into depression, which I did, which is followed with anxiety, which I have, and all that together is just chaos. It's the perfect party for spiritual, mental, emotional suicide, as you say. You don't want to end it, but you don't know how to keep going.
Right. Exactly.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So yeah, psoriasis and depression are very, very, very closely connected. It's actually, psoriasis is a very high, like, that kind of ups the suicide rate with people who have it bad enough, who get to that place. And it's really, I've talked to a lot of people who just, I came so close to, just wanting to end it. And for whatever reason, I mean, they all have their own reasons. For whatever reason, they were able to pull through. And that's where all these, the community, that's where the community really helps. And that's where I found, the strength to do this. I mean, I've always wanted to go and do the whole showbiz thing, but never really pulled the trigger on it. That's actually another thing, actually backing up a little bit. That's actually one thing that I was in the process of doing when I met my wife. And I was planning on, moving down to Los Angeles. I was going to do the whole classic, move down to Los Angeles and, work
Right.
whatever, a lame job till I can find work as an actor and make it big and all that. But if I did that, I would have sacrificed what I have now. So I'm glad I didn't. But this is actually back to what I was saying before. This disease gave me, because I got out of that dark place, it gave me the platform and the strength to do this, to meet amazing people, and not just to talk to people with psoriasis, but talk to amazing people like you, different kinds of advocates all over the place. There's so many different kinds of diseases and so many different people out there to talk to who are strong advocates for their disease. And it's been an amazing journey up to this point. So,
Can you tell us about your first time out on the advocacy platform when you were?
The first time?
Yeah.
Actually, the first time, let's see. The first time I ever stood in front of people and talked was at the MPF. They have bingo. They have bingo events that raise money for psoriasis research. And so the first time I ever spoke, or they joke around, did stand up, was in front of a room of about 90 people during a bingo event, and that was fun. The trick was to make sure that they did that late enough in the event where everybody had already had a couple bottles of wine. Because the best audience to a stand-up comedian is a drunk audience.
Amen. Yeah. Yes. That's why you should never do stand-up at an AA meeting. It doesn't work as well.
Ever.
No, yeah. Because no matter what part
one time I was so proud.
Yeah. Because no matter what part of the show you're in, they're always too sober to get the nasty jokes. It just doesn't work out fine. Yeah. Which is interesting because I just had my first stand-up act.
I saw that. You were
Did you
really
see
funny. It? I like that.
Did you see it?
Yeah, I did. I love that. The first, dude, you had me laughing. The first. Oh, if you haven't noticed, you people notice I roll my R's. It's because I'm gay. I love that. I love that joke.
For those of you that are
I
listening,
didn't see that coming. I was like, oh, it's going to be his first. Yeah.
the reversal there. I learned the techniques right there. For those of you that are watching or listening,
You say Mexican, but
yeah. So that was part of the class. So for those of you watching or listening, I want to say hello to the guys over at Cool Beans Comedy, where I took my stand-up comedy classes, and I did my first stand-up comedy set, and I think it went pretty well. So, but this isn't about me and how amazing I am. It's about Chris. There's so many ways I want to go into this conversation, but why be an advocate?
Why be an advocate? Because I think being an advocate, I think it's more from what I've found, and you might agree with what you advocate for. It's more than just spreading information. It's letting people know that just because you have this disease, it doesn't mean your life is over. It could mean something else is going to happen. So like I always tell people, psoriasis is not the end. It's the beginning of something else. And so I think that's part of our responsibility as being advocates is not just sharing the info, but encouraging people and letting them know that they are still worth it, even though they have this thing that they can't control. That's the biggest thing. It's like we can't control this disease. It's just something that we were genetically born with, and it unfortunately rears its head in a lot of different ways. So I do think that being an advocate is, and not to mention, man, I mean, you can agree with it. It just feels damn good, doesn't it? I mean, it's great going out there and telling your story and just being that light for people who are in such a dark place. It's just good. And in my case, I love making people laugh, and you love making people laugh, and just making people laugh who are in that dark place. It's awesome. I love doing that. So.
I tell people that I don't do good things for folks. For them, I do it for me. It makes me feel good. Like, I don't care how you feel afterwards. I feel great. Like,
there's no such thing as a selfless good deed.
No, like I do good stuff for people just because I want to feel special. Screw you.
I bet there's gonna be a bunch of angry faces just floating.
Right. But it has to feel good. I mean,
yeah.
I think we both heard advocates go out onto a local, a national stage and be bitter and angry. And you're like, what message are you putting out there? Why are you doing that?
Yeah, exactly.
Like I get not coming to grips with your situation, but if you're on a journey of self-discovery, which is advocacy has been for me, there has to be a positive light at the end of the tunnel. Otherwise, why do it?
Yeah, exactly. Yep, I agree. And and I've speaking of those angry, bitter people. I mean, I've had my run-ins with those people, especially on social media. I actually had a guy tell me one time that I was not funny and that I was, quote, the plaque psoriasis on the elbow Facebook. He told me that.
Okay.
And so I sent him well, it wasn't him directly. I didn't call him out or anything. You know what, man? You're right. I like plaque psoriasis. I'm not going anywhere. So, people liked that. And I always tell people, like, I remember the first time I got that hater, that man, kept doing the right thing. But I stuck with it. It's like, there are angry, bitter people out there. And being an advocate doesn't mean you're always going to go out there and make people happy. You're going to tick people off because they do. They want to be in that place because why not? They're getting attention and they're getting, whatever. And some people just want that. So.
Now, your site froze a little bit when you said that. What did he say to you?
Oh, he said that I'm not funny and I am the plaque psoriasis on the elbow of Facebook.
Sorry.
No, I laughed too. I commented back. I said, thanks for watching, so and so. I mean,
What else do you do?
Yeah, F you, guy.
And this is kind of horrible. When I was going through cancer treatment, and I would get home from treatment and I'd sleep all day, then I would be up all night. I would get on Facebook and find people having arguments and join in on the argument and just like troll them. Whatever they were saying, I would go against them. And then I would delete the whole thing when I was done. And just go sit.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I was evil.
Like fun.
I was like,
so many marriages.
I probably did. Yeah. But just people, whatever they were arguing about, I'd be like, it's like the sun is hot. No, it's not. It's really freezing up there. It's just a lie. It's a conspiracy. And then we get all into it. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to sleep. Delete.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you were on the receiving end, if you were on the receiving end of one of my all night ramblings, sorry. That's all I got to say. Where are you now? How do you find peace? How do you stay calm? And what drives you to keep going?
Well, I have 3 kids, so I don't stay calm. Okay. But as far as my disease goes, I just don't let it take me back to that place anymore, because I know that there's people out there who they're going through the same thing. And I'm not just talking, I mean, there's people who are in the community who are well established in the community who have that strength, right? And so there's still people out there who need that strength still. So that's kind of how that sounds kind of bad, but I'm not saying that there's people who are weaker than others. I mean, there are, but I think one of the reasons why I stay calm with this disease is because I need to be a face for the disease. And so if I'm just losing my mind all the time, people are going to see that and think, well, I don't know if he's a good person to look up to. So I think that's really my motivation for staying calm with my disease. I don't know if that answers your question or not.
Yeah. What keeps you motivated to keep doing the work you're doing?
Again, that kind of falls in the same thing. The answer is pretty similar. It's just the people. The people, they don't let me give up. I mean, there's been times when I'll put a message out, on my Facebook page, hey guys, I'm having a flare. I'm trying to keep my spirits up, trying to be positive. And I'll get tons of comments and tons of encouragement. Hey, hang in there, stay strong. It's a very strong community. I feel very blessed to know the people that I know. And the fact that I get to meet new people, I'm blessed for that too. Even the mean ones.
Yeah. Yeah, I think even from the negative people out there, we can learn something. And I've learned over my years as an advocate and just being alive that negative, grumpy, judgmental people, it's all about them. It's just their own insecurities and problems, and they just don't know how to put it out there. And at least for me, I just come back with it. You know what, man? Bless you. I'm going to have you in my thoughts, positive energy your way. And when you're ready to talk, here's my phone number. And more than once I've gotten a phone call from somebody or a text saying, hey, I'm the guy that I was fighting with you. And, you really read through me. I'm going through this and it's something that we have Are you there? Yeah, you are. It's something that we have, some similarity that they just can't break through. And I'm like, I'm glad you opened up. I'm like, you'll feel better about yourself.
Yeah.
So if you could go back and talk to you when you were younger, after that first flare up, what would you tell yourself?
Well, let's see. First flare up, that was high school, right? That's what I said. I would, I'd probably go back and I'd probably say, hey, you know what? Go talk to that girl, or, go ask her to that dance, or, go try put more of an effort into making more friends, or, get out there, wear short sleeve shirts when it's hot outside. Just simple things like that. I mean, the disease doesn't make the person, the person's body pretty much involuntarily made the disease. I mean, we didn't decide this to happen. So I pretty much would have just told myself that. It's like, hey, it's not your fault this is happening. Go out there, put yourself out there. You're an awesome person. Don't let it hold you back, because, I mean, you will regret it. And there's a lot of things. There are things that I do regret. I mean, I'm not saying that I regret, saving myself for my wife or anything like that. I don't regret that, but maybe going and auditioning for that play, or, whatever, things that where I would have to put myself out there. I wish I would have done that. And that's what I would tell myself. If 32-year-old me could go back to even 16-year-old me, say, hey man, suck it up. Go do it. You're all right. Yeah, your skin is a little flaky, but that's okay. You're a cool person. So.
And you are a cool person, sir.
Thanks, man. So are you.
I try, but I fake it. I fake it a lot. Yeah. I just want people on my show. It's all about me.
Oh, it is. You're probably going to and talk mad crap about me after this, huh?
When I go back and edit shows, I cut everybody out. It's just my voice through the whole thing.
It's
all me. It's a big conversation about me. I write down your words and I script it and I answer it myself. And it's all me.
You do the voices too, right?
Yes. But I answer in Spanish, so they don't know it's me.
Oh.
Well, we're kind of getting to the part of the show where I ask my guests to share some words of wisdom with folks. And it doesn't have to be about psoriasis. It can be about anything. What words of wisdom can you share?
Don't take things too seriously, I guess. My whole thing since I started this with, it is psoriasis related, because that's all I got, man. Once they find a cure, I'm going to be out of work. Once they find a cure for HIV, you're going to be out of work, right?
Hey, I still have cancer, depression, anxiety, and this Mexicanness. I got plenty of work to go through.
Man, you're set for life.
Yeah. I'm an overachiever. I want every disease available out there in my body at once, like Alien.
Wow.
Okay. That was a mouthful.
Yeah.
Top that, Superman.
If I could give words of wisdom if I could say anything, it's just, don't take things too seriously. Whatever disease you have, it is serious, but that doesn't mean you have to take yourself too seriously. And laugh. Oh my gosh, laugh and smile and enjoy yourself. Try to keep it lighthearted. And I know that doesn't sound realistic, and there's going to be days when you don't feel like that, and that's fine. But don't let that rule you. Find your way back to that smiling and laughing. I mean, there's always something to laugh about. Always. Whether it's at somebody, whether it's whatever, just laugh. Find a reason to laugh. I always tell people that. And that actually makes a lot of people mad. But that makes me laugh. So thank you. Thank you, haters.
Yeah, you know what? I've been fortunate enough that I haven't gotten a lot of hate mail or emails or they do tend to put together the HIV and the gay thing, and it's like, you deserve it because you're queer, and I'm like, okay, so what about the cancer? Like, where'd that come from? What made me deserve that? But I'm with you. I've been asked several times in interviews if I could go back, would I change anything? And a part of me wants to say yes, but the other part of me says I wouldn't have been able to meet the people that I have, been to the places I have, and do the work that I do. If it wasn't for HIV in the beginning, I wouldn't be the person I am today with the struggles and trials and tribulations. Does that make sense for you?
Oh yeah, totally. And I mean, I haven't read your story and like all of the details, but what I have gathered is you've pretty much been to hell and back. And the fact that you're still here doing this,
thank you.
It's very admirable. Very inspiring.
I brought back T-shirts if you want one.
Oh, really?
Yes, from hell. Yeah.
Oh.
They're hot and they're going fast. So.
Oh my God.
So, see, once a stand-up comic, always a stand-up comic.
That's right, man. You got it. You're in for life.
So, I'm going to put you on the spot because we got about 15 minutes.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So give us your best jokes.
My best jokes? Oh,
yes.
God. Oh, no.
And they can be dirty, too. Give me a dirty one.
No,
dirty one.
Oh, coffee makes you weird. Oh, man, my best jokes. Oh, gosh. What was one? I can't remember the ones I told. But I think... oh, man, I'm going to have to get back to you. I can't.
Okay.
I'm not that good.
We'll come back to that one in a minute. We'll come back to that one in a minute. I'll give you a break on that. And
people are going to watch this and going to be like, the guy was lame, Daniel. What were you doing?
I'll be like, I thought he was funny.
You're like, you, be funny.
I didn't really care for his advocacy, but I wanted some jokes. And, well, poop on me. So much for the waiting. Well, you have, okay, so I'm going to take it in another direction then.
Sure.
You have 3 kids.
Yeah.
What would you want them to remember about you?
Gosh. Let's remember that I'm a human being with a disease, not a disease with the remains of a man attached. So that sounds really weird. And that's actually one that I started sharing right off the get-go is we are human beings with a disease. We are not a disease with the remains of a human being. It sounds really weird and kind of Shakespearean dark, but I think that's the one thing I would want my kids to remember. Or they could just remember me for being awesome. I mean, whatever, if it's that simple, that's cool too. But yeah, don't judge somebody by how they look.
That's pretty cool. Let's say you're writing your memoir. What would be the first line in your memoir?
This psoriasis itches like a son of a. That'd be my first line.
Excuse me. That makes sense.
It'll start out with me looking for a place to scratch my back, just to set the.
I just. How tall are you, if I may ask?
What's that?
How tall are you, if I may ask?
I'm about 6'1", 6'1" and a half.
Jesus. Okay, yeah.
I know I'm taller than I look on social media.
No. You look like you're a tall dude. You're about my boyfriend's height.
Yeah, your boyfriend looks like a big guy. Yeah.
Yeah. If for anybody, any of Chris's followers that are following the show, you can go to my page and check out my boyfriend's picture, and he's about that height. So I'm short. I'm a short person. I'm 5'6". So.
See, now I thought you look taller, actually.
I do, because I put the camera really close to me so that I fill it out. But I only come in small and medium. I'm not a large. Yes, and that could go so many directions. I'm going to leave that one alone.
Yeah, again, those of you who are listening and not watching, we're just talking about height. That's it.
We're talking about height. Yes. Good things come in small packages.
Hey, Tabasco comes in a small bottle.
Have you ever stayed at a hotel? They give you the little tiny one? That's me. I'm the little tiny one in the hotel rooms.
Now, your boyfriend, I've seen pictures. you guys are a beautiful couple.
Thank you.
And he actually looks like a really happy guy. So
he is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
He puts up with all my crap. So he's either very happy or just doesn't pay attention to me, or medicated. One of the three. That's how he puts up. What I was hoping that we would do something funny, but I guess now.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. Check out. I have a YouTube channel.
Okay. Tell us where we can find you.
It's psoriatic stand-up. That's stand-up with a P, because we in the psoriasis community, everything that starts with a sound, it begins with a P. So, because psoriasis does. So,
so you pee first.
There's a P first. Yeah, psoriatic.
You pee first, and then the rest.
I pee first. Yep, I pee before I stand. Yeah, before I stand up. Yeah. Great. Yep.
Sorry.
There you go. That's actually pretty good. I've never. Yeah, that's the first. What's a comedian? Thanks, cool beans.
Okay, I'm sorry. So psoriasis, stand up with the P.
Yeah. So it's psoriatic stand up. It's on YouTube. I have my Facebook page, which is also psoriatic stand up, and we actually have a Twitter too. It's at psoriatic stand without the up for some reason. Too many characters, I guess. And there's funny stuff on there. Actually, my first video. One joke that we have in the psoriasis community is that, a guy like me, again, going back to size and weight, comparing sizes, I'm a big guy. And when I first started out with this disease, I've always been a big person. So starting out with this disease and not knowing, not really doing the proper treatment, which is the biologics and everything, blah, 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 the boring stuff. They would just give me tubes of ointments or lotions, stuff that, topical. Well, they'd give you this little tube, and they'd tell you to apply it to your whole body twice a day for the next 3 or 4 weeks. It's like, have you seen me? Look at me. This is 90% of a very huge body. And this is so, I guess that's a joke. That's a joke that we have. And then, I actually had a dermatologist tell me one time, apply these ointments after you take a hot bath, and then apply the ointment, and then wrap yourself in saran wrap. And so, I don't know if you've ever seen Fried Green Tomatoes.
Yes.
But, that scene where Kathy Bates comes to the door and she's wrapped in. Yeah, I have that picture on. Yes, it's actually my pilot episode. A picture pops up of her waiting for her husband right there, and that's the whole joke, is that wrapping in saran, which I never did. I did once. I was happy to see my wife. I did it once, but
I thought you were going to say you have a picture of you.
No.
I was like, are you serious?
No, not me.
Because all of a sudden, all my gay audience is going, what? Where can we download that photo?
It was Kathy Bates, which honestly, me and Kathy, there's not much of a difference. It's Kathy Bates.
She's got a bigger beard, but that's beside the point.
Kathy Bates is a very handsome woman.
But so. I was about to say, wait a minute, what? You and Saran Wrap? I'm like, let me bring you to some of my gay groups and let them know. Today we're going to talk about.
My wife probably watch this. She's gonna be like, Christopher, what actually happened on that?
Yeah, no. Well, I have to admit that from a gay point of view, not as a host, but just the gay man, you are a very handsome man.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, you're definitely that big teddy bear that every little gay man wants. It's like, oh my God, I'm so protected here. Yeah, so for everybody listening, what's your wife's name, may I ask?
Her name is Corrine, Corene, Corrine.
All right, so Corrine, just so you know, I've been stalking your husband. I wanted him on the show because I think he's handsome. Same thing with Ross McCurry. There's this gentleman, Ross McCurry, out of Canada, who I just interviewed recently. And when I met him at a conference, I thought he was just the most like adorable man. And he has this hand issue, so he wears a glove for it's a pressure glove. And I kept telling him, "Is that your bionic hand?" I'm like, because I was always in love with the Bionic Man. So I'm like, I'm in love with you now. So I stalked him until he was on my show. And people who have been on my show know I will stalk you. I will hunt you down until you come on the show. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Kareem,
Yes, he does.
so Kareem, yes, just so you know, if anything ever should happen, I'm jumping in there. And I'm
find your husband in Laguna Beach.
yes, and I'm coming with a roll of plastic wrap. So just for that. I'm gonna have to like impose your face on Kathy Bates' picture and just tell people.
Go for it. Go for it. Put it on. Seriously, me and Kathy Bates, there's not that big of a difference.
But so what's next for you? What are you doing?
Just keep on with the finding a cure. You know, keep going to the events and help raise awareness and money and for the research. Just keep on keeping on. Really, I mean, there's no other direction to go but forward. And just keep trying different treatments. I'm going to be next year. I'm going to be part of a really big. They're trying out a bunch of stuff, I guess. So I get to go be a human guinea pig.
Nice.
In Washington, D.C. Oh, my gosh. Hopefully it makes me a super soldier or something. That'd be really cool. Maybe Captain America or something.
Well,
yeah.
People don't realize how important their studies are.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of blood work, too. A lot of blood work, a lot of research, a lot of stuff to do. So I'm going to be putting my body through a lot. Yeah.
Wait, hold on. I'm just using my imagination. And go. Okay. Yes.
Okay. And bank is filled again. All
yes,
right.
Yes. I need to keep my mind in the gutter so I can keep my guests on their toes. So
Hey. Yeah. No, it's yeah. No.
Well, because I'm part of a 15-year HIV study about the effects of drugs and alcohol for people who are HIV positive. Because I'm a recovering drug addict and alcoholic. So I'm on year 4 of a 15-year study.
So wait a minute, you're creepy and you're sober? Whoa.
Yeah, this is sober and no drugs. Yeah. All this insanity is just me waking up in the morning. Yeah, people think I'm on something. No, I was made this way.
Oh boy.
Yeah, you know how many thousands of dollars I could have saved on drugs and alcohol had I known that this was already in me? Like, yeah.
Oh my. Well, hey, congratulations on your sobriety. I know it's
Yeah. I just hit 11 years this summer.
Oh wow, that's a big milestone. Congratulations. I have not.
And you know, I'll wait till I visit and then I'll get you drunk. And
there you go. Yeah, man, come out to Portland. We're a bunch of weirdos up here. You'd fit right in.
I love Portland. I love Portland. I've been there I've been there in the summer and I've been there towards the fall, and it's just there's a very spiritual energy about Portland.
Yeah.
There's because I don't know if you knew this about me too. Now we're going to go on other topics, but I'm a Reiki master. So I do Reiki, I do card readings, I do energy work. So the first time we went to Portland, we stayed in this house up towards the hill.
Yeah.
And there were ghosts in the house.
Oh yeah.
And things would move and we would see lights come on and off. And we got tappings on our window in this big house. It was so cool. I was so excited. the second time we went back, I wanted to stay at that same house, but it was rented out. We can Airbnb it. But I love Portland. We went up that hill where all the trees are and stuff. And,
Yeah.
So invite people to Portland. What's the best thing about Portland?
I would say, gosh, there's a lot of places to go and eat. There's some great, there's good, like I said, donuts, beer, and it's just there's a lot of just really cool, quirky places to go.
Voodoo Donuts.
Yeah, Voodoo Donuts. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's where I had the Cap'n Crunch donut.
Yeah, that's definitely that's for tourists. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we Portlandians, we don't appreciate Voodoo Donuts.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's fun. It's fun. I mean, I like Voodoo, but it's kind of one of those things where it's like, it's touristy. There's always a line out the door, so I mean, they are good. But if you want a good donut, you go to Pips Donuts, PIPS Donuts, Northeast Fremont, Northeast Portland. That's where the good donuts are. Oh man, so good.
Well, you know that the next time that I come, we're gonna hang out.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. Hit me up, man. Totally. We'll go get donuts.
And I guess you can bring your wife. I mean, it's okay.
I'll bring my wife and my kids, dude. We'll drive you crazy.
How old are your kids, if I'm asking?
My three boys, they are 7, 3, and 1.
Awesome.
They're little, yeah.
That's a good age, because as soon as they hit the teenage years, I don't talk to them anymore.
Yeah.
I'm done. I teach those ages. I'm done. I don't want to talk. I don't want to have to socialize with them. Before we go, there was a topic that I brought up with Alicia yesterday. We were talking yesterday. Yeah. And we were talking about social fatigue. And it's something that happens to a lot of, I just lost the word, advocates. Mm. Do you ever suffer from it, and how do you recover?
Did you say social fatigue?
Yeah.
Like getting tired of talking to people?
Yeah, that you're talking about your disease or the people that you hang out with are the same people that you advocate with, so you're never really not talking shop.
Yeah. I would definitely say, like with, well, actually, I actually did joke about this because I was at a bingo event, last weekend in Seattle. And, I was, one of my jokes was, wouldn't it be great when that day comes when they find a cure for psoriasis and it becomes a thing of the past? And then, like, what was that disease called again? Playing it off like I didn't remember. What was that disease called? What was it? It itched really bad, made your joints hurt. We played bingo all the time. What was it? I think that kind of gets. I think the bingo. I mean, I like bingo, but I think the social events get kind of. Not that they're not fun, but they get kind of. They're all the same, pretty much. Like, I'm going to be glad when the day comes when I don't really. Well, actually, I can't say that because I do like them, and I don't want to piss anybody off because bingo really is great. I've never played so much bingo. Anyway, I'm trailing off. Back to your actual question. I think my wife and I think sometimes we get kind of tired of talking about it because she does. She works for the organization, and I'm a guinea pig of the organization and a volunteer, and so I think it gets kind of exhausting.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
how do you fight it off?
I just one time somebody told me, keep telling your story the way you tell it because you never know who's listening because it may not be the same people. So sometimes I do think like, oh, they want me to tell my story again, but there's people out there who haven't heard it. There's people out there that need that encouragement. So I actually thought that with you when you asked me that tonight, but I was like, he hasn't heard it yet. So I got to.
and that's why I tell people before we start recording, this is your episode. You don't have to tell your story again. You can talk about anything. And there's been advocates that I've had on the show that we never even talk about advocacy. They talk about their life and they talk about their day and, what they had for lunch and why it was so good. And by the end of the show, I'm like, oh, wait, you have a platform. Tell them about that before we leave. And then it's like 5 minutes of platform. And I think, not because it's my show, I think that's one thing that's made my show popular with advocate friends is that you don't have to talk about it, about anything else. We surely have been laughing about everything else, but so.
Yeah.
Okay. So go ahead.
No. I agree with it. I totally agree with you. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you. So one last message for everybody listening about psoriasis, what they should and shouldn't know, and what it is and what it isn't.
Psoriasis, it is a disease that you have. Don't let it have you. It is not a death sentence. It is the beginning of something else. Embrace it, be yourself, and don't let it hold you back.
Not contagious.
And it's not contagious.
But it can be genetic.
It can be genetic, yes.
All right, cool.
And that's why I always think to myself, one thing that really encourages me when it comes to all these weird treatments coming out is this treatment, it could clear up my psoriasis. And yes, one of the side effects could be, I could grow a third leg out of my forehead, but at least I don't think I'm this.
And you would be back on the show. So back on the show. So back on the show. I'd be like,
a lot's changed, Danny.
Are you happy to see me, or is that a leg on your forehead?
Oh my God.
Well,
I can't. Okay, where's the power button? I can't with you, man.
Give everybody again the links and where they can find you.
It's Psoriatic Stand Up. That's stand up with a P. That's my YouTube. Psoriatic Stand Up. Facebook, Psoriatic Stand Up. Twitter, @Psoriatic Stand. Just look for the fist. Has a microphone in it. Get your mind out of the gutter, Daniel. It's a fist with a microphone. It's got Portland in the background. Look me up.
I can't say anything else.
Yeah, please don't. Get your mind out. I'm gonna go to my wife and be like, "Oh, we're gonna have to change our logo now."
It is Friday. It's Friday night, and I'm alone. So,
well, where's the boyfriend at? Is he out of town?
He's up at his place in Culver City, and I'm down in my place in Laguna Beach. But never mind. When you're video chatting with the big bear from Portland and he shows you his fist, what do you do? What do you do? I
didn't mean it. I don't want your boyfriend to beat me up, man.
Well, your wife's probably going to beat me up. So there's that. I'm speechless. That was a mouthful right there.
I will know one. This is kind of a random confession.
Sure.
But I'm going to confess it. My wife actually got me into, and I actually love this show on Netflix, Queer Eye. I actually like that show.
Okay.
I actually love that show. I know I don't know if that's a weird thing to bring up, but
a lot of straight men like the show.
Yeah, I actually find myself like, oh my gosh, what is he going to do with his hair in this episode? Like, actually, and my wife will drink wine and we'll watch this show, and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm actually into this.
Did you watch the original?
I did not.
Go back and watch the original. I think it's a lot better than the remake.
Oh, really? Have you watched the remake? You have watched the remake?
Yes. Yeah. But I was around when the original was first out. I watched your first run, and I think it's a lot better than. I just like the characters better. Than now. But yeah, go back and watch it. So are you a RuPaul's Drag Race watcher?
No, I've seen like on social media, I've seen like clips from the show, and they're pretty funny. But I've never watched he's pretty funny.
Go back and watch the episodes where they dress up straight guys.
Oh, RuPaul?
Yes, they'll take straight guys and make them up. It is, you can see the transformation in the guys, not just the physical, but their understanding of people. It is such a beautiful thing to watch. It's awesome. So I recommend it. All right. So I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad we finally did this after, like 2 months of rescheduling? And
hiding from your wife and avoiding.
Yeah.
Don't hang up. Let me say goodbye to everybody. Guys,
right.
We've had Chris Pettit talking to us today about psoriasis, his life, and fist. So I want to thank again my producer, Mr. Kevin Morris, for all his help and support. Thank you, sir. Inviting all of you to check us out at abnormalentertainment.com, where you can find all the shows on the network. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Little Mexican or Daniel G. Garza. You can also look up Put It Together Podcast, like the page so you can follow what my guests are up to, what they're doing, and the videos. Again, if you're listening to this on podcasting, you can go to YouTube and watch the videos where I have all the links to everything we've talked about on the show today. Thank you so much for watching and or listening. This is Daniel Garza saying, hey, put it together.
This is how I put it together. This is how I put it together. This is how I put it together.
Subscribe to Put It Together on iTunes, Stitcher, and at abnormalentertainment.com/putittogether. Find Put It Together on Facebook and tweet Daniel at Lil Messican, LILMESICAN. And for more podcasts, comics, books, movies, and more, head to abnormalentertainment.com.
You've been listening to the Abnormal Entertainment Network.